that up. Share. People. Wait, everybody. There we go. Everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Awesome. See that. Good morning, everyone. We're going to get started here right away.
41 participants.
Yeah, still letting a few folks in here, and I'll keep letting people in as we head in, but I'm just going to do an intro. Good morning, I'm Melissa Hansen, President and CEO at Northspan, and just welcome to everyone for being here with us to our Northeast Minnesota Virtual Business Resource Summit. Thank you again to our presenting sponsors, all listed here. I won't read them all out. You're going to hear from all of them. And our agenda is simple. We will hear from 13 resource partners and then go into breakout rooms where you can choose your path and ask questions. Once we go into those breakout rooms for Q&A, we'll end our time together from there. So we won't be having everyone come back to the main room. We just thank you so much for joining us and hope you find it valuable and informational. Here is the list. Oh, so yeah, like I said, it will be done by 10:30. Presentations, Q&A breakout rooms. You will be able to choose the breakout room you want to go into. I'll be hanging back to make sure you can get into those and helping folks, since some folks haven't done it for a while. Here are our 13 presenters we are going to hear from this morning. And we're going to start right off the bat with Christopher Hennigan from the Northland Small Business Development Center. The screen is yours, Christopher. We're not able to hear you, Christopher. If you are trying to talk right now, you are on mute.
There you go.
There we go. We saw your screen. We just couldn't hear your beautiful voice.
All right. When I started to share the screen, it muted me. Yeah, so I appreciate the introduction. So like Elissa said, my name is Christopher Hennigan. I am with the Small Business Development Center. I'm in my 4th year as a business consultant. If you're not familiar with the Small Business Development Center, folks can get no-cost resources. And our region that we cover is 7 counties and 5 tribal nations. We make up the Arrowhead region of Minnesota. The Small Business Development Center as an entire program, is a nationwide program administered by the Small Business Administration locally. We've been around for over 40 years in Minnesota. We are funded through federal, state, and local donors, many of which are on this call today. SBDC centers are across the state of Minnesota, but again, they are also across the nation, including the Cayman Islands and Puerto Rico. So some fun facts: if you have friends or family anywhere else in the country, they can get no-cost services in their area as well. The way that we assist our clients and the services that we offer, I am a generalist, so I provide general technical assistance and guidance to clients. Things that I would do would be like assistance with a business plan, assistance creating financial projections, assistance with startup, like creating an LLC or an EIN. I also help folks understand why there should be a separation between personal banking and business banking. And then in addition to our services as generalists, we'll do presentations in the community. So recently we've done trainings like paid leave, starting a business in Minnesota, which I just did at the college here out in Cloquet the other night. And then finally, we offer specialists. So we have what we call subject matter experts that can assist small businesses. And we have 4 different subject matter expert areas that we cover. The first is marketing. So setting up a simple website, social media strategy, Google listing, things of that nature. We have a QuickBooks specialist who can assist folks in determining the appropriate level of QuickBooks, teaching them how to input information and look at reports. We have an IT and technical support guy who can assist you with anything software or hardware related, connectivity issues, slow computer, things of that nature. And then we have a human resource pro who can assist you with things like the paid leave, which I just mentioned, earn sick and safe time questions, workers' compensation, setting up employee handbooks, things of that nature. These specialists are available to folks on a limited basis. The subject matter experts can assist you for up to 10 hours. That usually breaks down to 7 or 8 sessions because they get paid for administrative time as well. So they're not going to do the work for you, but what they can do is assist you in getting started and understand how to make a plan for yourself to do the work. And then just some insight on our regional impact. 2024 was the last year that we had full data, obviously. But in 2024, we served nearly 1,000 clients. With the assistance of some of the programs that are on this call today, we served over $1 million in capital raised. And then we helped almost 80 new businesses get started in the area. And you can see those other bullet points as well. The way that this information is tracked is through impact attribution forms, which our clients are required to sign. And I bring that up because a lot of you folks on this building are on this call today assist us in gathering those forms so that we know that we're getting fairly accurate data. So if you ever get a request from me to fill out an impact attribution form as part of the loan closing, please do so. And if folks are interested in getting services with our Small Business Development Center or with other SBDCs across the nation, all that they need to do is go onto the website. On our website, all you need to do is request for services. Again, these are at no cost. And after you request for services, you will be assigned to a business consultant, a generalist like myself. And then if you need additional assistance in any of those specialty areas which I covered, all you would have to do is request that and we would refer you over to those folks. And I believe that is all I got for folks. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Christopher. We're going to head right over to Rob Shostrand with the Entrepreneur Fund. There you go.
Got it. It's kind of the challenge of finding your audio button again. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm Rob Shostrand. I'm the Director of Business Services at the Entrepreneur Fund. And we operate in the northeast corner of Minnesota, central Minnesota, and the northern part of Wisconsin. So we'll get into those details. But as you can see here, we are your local mission-based CDFI lender in the area. So we partner with many of the lenders, many of you on the call, bankers and other partners throughout the area, working with the SBDC on business startups, as well as any expansions that are happening. And we're going to try to stay on time here, so I'll keep us moving and say, the biggest piece that we come to is personalized service. So as we're working with a business, figuring out what is the right capital stack that they're going to need, what partners do we need to bring into the mix, as well as walking that path with them and the specialized service that comes with it. So helping find the right resource as generalists and helping along that path during their business journey. So that's where we stay involved throughout that entire process of running their business, doing reviews along with educational classes that I know we all have. There's many different resources across the region, but we specifically do a Be Strategic class as well as Profit Mastery. And then we also host 2 women's business centers, or women's business alliance groups in the northeast of Minnesota and the central region. Just some details over the 29 counties. So as people are looking or you have other associates or anybody that you're working with that may be in this region, we service the 29 counties that are highlighted across Minnesota and Wisconsin, 12 Native nations, and working within all of those programs across that area. Then we thought we would bring in just a couple of examples, and I'm sure many of our presenters will start talking about this, and we'll invite you. I think you're going to have a pretty robust group in number 2, so please join us for what it might look like when we put these things together and we talk about a capital stack in how do we fit. So this example is really a partner where we came in as part of the owner equity, so true gap financing. When we look at this, what's happening within the bank position, different tax credits and what can happen throughout a project, and what the pieces are that we're using that funds for. So there's a reason why you can see Entrepreneur Fund at the bottom, the owner equity, along with everything to help get this project through with our partners was something everybody was interested in doing. So this is a little bit more of a, call it on the complicated end when you start including tax credits. And then you get to the simple end, but had a little bit of a problem when we look at something where those of you that have been in business or are looking at things, I know we had a quick conversation before this about valuations. Here you can see where a valuation came in low, or a appraisal came in low based on a project that was being built. So there was bank financing that took its normal portion of a project. We came in with gap and had to work pretty hard with the owner to bring in the right equity based on the project that they wanted to do. So we can get into many more details about what those kind of projects look like, along with the resource partners that we have here as we keep going. But I will click onto our final, so give you a quick minute or two if you would like to scan the QR code, and if you want to check anything out that we also have available until we get into the breakout sessions, that would be great. But other than that, Alyssa, I am done with our presentation for the moment, and we will keep things rolling.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. We'll go right to Kirsten Kennedy with the Minnesota Center for Employee Ownership, or MIN CEO.
Thank you. Thank you for having us today. It's always so great to be here. Okay, why is it not moving? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. Okay. We are the Minnesota Center for Employee Ownership, and we are a broad-based support, technical assistance, coaching for broad-based employee ownership in Minnesota. We have employee stock ownership plans, a worker-owned cooperatives, and we have employee ownership trusts. You can see here the benefits for the owner. I'll just let you read through it quick so we make through on time. Some have tax advantages more than others. The one thing that's really important to remember about employee ownership is you have to accept a fair market value for your company. The benefits to employees: it retains jobs, opportunity to build wealth, and not sure why we're getting feedback, sorry, and control over work and life. The benefits of the business is increased growth and productivity, better recruitment and retention, loyal customer base expansion, and tax benefits. Here are some of the benefits: retain the jobs, retain the business, recirculates the wealth, and it keeps businesses in the communities. The 3 forms I mentioned already: ESOPs, employee stock ownership plans, which seems to be the most tax advantaged, worker-owned cooperatives, and then employee ownership trusts. The employee stock ownership plan, as I mentioned, I always say pretty a sweet spot, 20 on the low end for employees and about 750,000 EBITDA. Some examples you'll recognize. I'll let you put quick eyes on it so we move through and get done on time. You can recognize some people from your area. Worker-owned cooperatives. Worker-owned cooperatives are good for any size businesses. They tend to be smaller. Sometimes they tend to be in the service industry, but they really go throughout. We have a construction company that is a worker-owned cooperative in Minnesota. So here are a few of the worker-owned cooperatives. Worker-owned cooperatives, I say, usually about 100,000 profitability. You could do a startup for a worker-owned cooperative. And it is a really great way to benefit employees that typically would not make sustainable wages. Next, the Employee Ownership Trust. We have one in Minnesota, Code Weavers. I always tell people about 300,000 profitability. It does not have tax benefits. However, it is the most flexible form of employee ownership we have in the United States. We have one, Code Weavers. Love them. They are a company that helps set up Steam if anyone has gamers in their families. And Jeremy White said it was the best decision he ever made. They transacted 4 years ago. They gave out dividends their first year. Why now? We all know this. 52,300 plus businesses with people 62 plus or over. This is a little bit about what we do and what we have to share. We have the Advisor's Edge, which is in partnership with Project Equity. It offers credits to anyone who works with small businesses, and it takes a deep dive of how it can expand service businesses that service advisors for small businesses. And it just helps you see how it can help grow what you do.
What you need to do. What you need to do or what you're doing wrong. I mean, literally, it tells you everything.
And now my screen's not going. I think that is it for me. I will stop sharing.
Thank you, Kirsten. Chad Recordis with ARDC is having a little trouble getting in. So Angie, we will pop to you and just.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, there you are. Yay.
Yeah. No, I couldn't get into the 8:30, figure out how to share stuff. I'm in
Okay.
on this, okay. However, I do not have my slides available because I didn't know that we were going to have to do that ourselves, so I apologize. My name's Chad Record. I am the loan administrator for Arrowhead Regional Development Commission. We are in 7 counties, so our perimeter kind of runs around I Falls down to Grand Rapids, over to Aiken, up through Cloquet, Duluth, and then the true Arrowhead. We are 7 counties, and we are all about economic development. Primarily, the traditional role of ARDC was to help out with gap lending. So when Rob was talking earlier, lots of times Rob or others from Entrepreneur Fund, Michael and Amanda from the Northland Foundation and ARDC worked to get projects over the finish line. So lots of times our direct, I'll call it customer, is not necessarily the borrower. Lots of times it's the financial institutions that need help because of what Rob was stating. The bank could do 60%, the SBA could run it up another 20 or so. The owners don't have 20% of equity, so there's a gap. Our gap loan program goes up to $250,000.
Looks like Chad's having some internet issues.
The idea that when the business is a success and we are getting more employees and more profit, hopefully the borrower is in a position to pay us off first so that they can get rid of a higher rate, and also then it puts that money back into our coffers so that we can do another loan. So a lot of times when I speak to people that are truly
We'll let it roll and see if he pops back in.
that we Our other program that we have kind of came out of COVID, where we had a up to $75,000 loan at a below market rate of 75% of prime and an unsecured basis. Those loans no longer are being done. However, we have tried to channel that into a new focus for us, which is childcare. We all understand that there is a huge demand for childcare, and we are trying to help out with that. So when you're talking to your customers or people on this call that are in that business or know of others, we have loans to help out primarily with working capital, $75,000, 10 years unsecured at 75% of prime. So it's very attractive there. We also can utilize that program to do some working capital loans, just regular working capital loans. That's kind of a change, so we're a little bit of a work in progress on that. Check out our website for further information, and it has all of that is listening in and wants to talk more, email me or call me, and we can go from there. Just to let you know, we carry about a $6 million portfolio right now, roughly about 80 loans. So we do what we can. We're in the business to help out with economic development and are happy to be involved with this.
Great, Chad. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you popping in here. And we will hand it over to Angie Steer with the City of Duluth 1200 Fund.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it's in the, I can see all the slides.
Oh, I need the slideshow.
There you go.
There we go. Okay. Hi, everyone. Thanks, Alyssa. I'm Angie Steer. I'm an economic developer with the City of Duluth, but I'm also a staff liaison for the Duluth 1200 Fund, which is a nonprofit board created back in 1985. And I need to minimize that. There we go. Yeah, so our 501c3 and the board is, we have a 9-member board these days. And what we have a couple bankers, and it's really a variety of business owners that make a lot of our decisions. We've recently celebrated our 100th loan and the creation of 900 jobs. It was made with the intention to create 1,200 jobs back in 1985. And with those 100 loans, 83% of those businesses are still in Duluth. So that's pretty awesome. All businesses requesting funding must be located in the city limits of Duluth. Our Build Forward loan program, mentorship loan, and the Child Care Collaboration Grant are ongoing applications that you can find on the 1200fund.com website. The Historic Fund and the Storefront Loan Program are newer, and they have a certain window where the application is available. And borrowers may hold up to 2 loans at one time. So the Build Forward loan, high-level information, it's to assist with small businesses, child cares, with the acquisition and renovation of owner-occupied commercial property. This is a gap financing program, as all of our programs are. Where this one finances for fixed assets, building renovations, equipment, 17-year term with a maximum loan value of about $100,000. And it does have a loan forgiveness factor if enough jobs are created. Up to 50% of that loan could be forgiven if those jobs are created between year 2 of holding the loan and year 3 of holding the loan. So that one's pretty unique, and it's great. Our Child Care Collaboration Grant, we've had this one for a number of years, and it's really kind of geared towards centers because the 1200 Funds assistance can only achieve 25% of that goal or that need. So typically that lands in more of a center type category. The grant is up to $100,000, and it does require, obviously, another financial institution to participate in that loan, and the grants come after the building is open for business while it's received its occupancy certificate. Our mentorship loan, that's been around for a little over 2 years, and this one's relatively unique. The business can be operating out of a leased mobile or owned space, and the business must be a startup with less than 6 months of receiving revenue and having less than 10 employees. And it also requires a business mentor. So we like to make sure that fresh startup entrepreneurs have a resource for questions, and it's a lot to take on right away. So we want to make sure you have some support in making those initial decisions. The loan is a 10-year amortization schedule with a 5-year term at 2% interest, and those loans can be requested for between $3,000 and $15,000. The storefront loan is currently accepting applications until December 15th. This one is geared towards downtown Duluth and the Spirit Valley neighborhood. You can find out more details on our website again. It has a 4% interest rate, $100,000 loan value, 17-year term. And really, it's anything that fixes the facade on your public face on the public facing walls of your building. We don't cover roofs on that, but pretty much anything that you need for windows, doors, signage, awnings, brickwork, lighting, all the things. That one's a pretty good program. And that will be a yearly reoccurring program. There are some of the eligible uses. Here's kind of where to find our application on that. There we go. Okay, wrapping this up quickly. Historic Fund. We just had our first round of Historic Fund. So that's geared towards our downtown Duluth area. You have to be a contributing building to the historic district. So it doesn't need to be a designated historic building, but as long as you're contributing to that district, you qualify. There's a map online where you can find if your building is eligible, along with a parcel list. So you can find your parcel ID and verify that. And this next round will be coming out in early spring of 2026. Those loans vary based on your location to service our priority area. There's kind of the map. The starred in green are the ones that are eligible. And there is my contact information, a QR code to our website. And yeah, feel free to reach out if you just have any questions and want to look into it more.
Thank you so much, Angie. We will jump over to Jeff Borling with Great River Energy.
Right, just working on the share here. All right, can everybody see that? Looking good? All right.
Yep.
Well, thanks, everybody. I am Jeff Borling. I'm part of the economic development team at Great River Energy, and we are a generation and transmission cooperative. We're a nonprofit electric power cooperative, and we are owned by 26 different distribution level cooperatives around the state. So people often look at this map and they think, hey, we're a big parent company to all of these little co-ops all over, and it's actually quite the opposite. We're owned by those co-ops. So if you're a member on the lines of one of these co-ops and you get elected to the board of directors, you may come up and join the Great River Energy board of directors, and you can tell me what to do all day. So we are very much owned by the people we serve. And this is kind of gives a breakdown. I'm not here to talk too much about our core business, but just wanted to give you an idea of who we are. And if you want to hear all about our carbon-free strategy, chat with me offline here. I bring up these 7 cooperative principles. These are the principles that guide all cooperatives, not just electric cooperatives like us, but cooperatives all around the country. And I always point to principle number 7, concern for community. That really drives a lot of the work we do in economic development, and it's kind of why we're here, is that cooperative principle. The way we look at economic development at the cooperatives is really a breakdown between our core business and that cooperative principle, concern for community. So obviously we sell power. That's what drives our revenue. That's what allows us to exist and serve the members we serve. So we are working on member-driven load growth projects, trying to help businesses grow and expand in our member-owner cooperative service areas so that they'll have thriving communities and thriving business models to support the co-op's operations going forward. At the same time, we're doing a lot of work that is not in our service area, not on our lines, or it's working with fire trucks and things that don't have anything to do with selling electricity. And really, that's just based on our concern for community and wanting to see successful, vibrant communities in all the areas we serve. So, business attraction, retention, expansion, community development, those traditional economic development buckets really line up well with our mission and vision for how we work. Some of the financing programs that we use in our economic development practice include our Business Expansion Loan Fund. This is probably the largest amount of direct financing we can do from Great River Energy. This program is really designed to help our member-owner cooperatives compete for projects, whether that means keeping their local business from expanding and growing into the larger city nearby and moving out of town, or attracting a new operation that is looking for sites and may move into their community. This allows the co-ops to apply for up to $500,000 on behalf of the project. These are 0% interest loans with a 10-year term. The only requirement is that they must result in a minimum of about half a megawatt of new energy sales for the participating cooperative. So it's very much focused on competing for load, and we needed a tool for that. I have Daikin in here. That's an interesting example. These loans don't have to go to the actual company that's doing the project. In the case of Daikin, they didn't need this loan. So we have set this program up that it can go to a participating local unit of government. In this case, it was Faribault and Rice County. Took one of these loans on behalf of the qualifying Daikin project, and they used it to expand a new industrial park. It started with Daikin as the anchor, but they've since filled that up with a few other businesses. So a very successful use of that fund. Our E3 loan program is a little more bread and butter for what we do in terms of working with businesses on energy efficiency and electrification strategies. We've seen this is obviously a program that can be used for HVAC equipment and making buildings more efficient in terms of how they're using energy. But we've seen some really unique applications of this in the agriculture industry. We're doing a lot with automating the feeding of cattle, so you're not using diesel fuel and human labor to do that. We're seeing a lot in automating on how dairy operations are handling their milking. Robotic milkers are the new thing, and we've done a lot of funding for those through this program. In Northeast Minnesota, we've seen a lot of activity with manufacturing. We've got Mid-State Plastics there in the picture over in Reamer, Minnesota. We've worked with a lot of wood products companies as well. Companies that are investing in automation equipment often don't create a lot of jobs with those projects, but they're very important to the longevity of those businesses. So we're really looking at the efficiency of how many kilowatt hours are they consuming per widget or unit that they produce. And if we can show that even if they're using more energy at the end of the project, if we can show that they're using less per unit, that's an energy savings for us, and there's that helps us achieve some of our goals, and we'll pass on that value in terms of a low interest or no interest loan to help them invest in that equipment. Really great project. Really like to see more of that manufacturing sector use it. Oh, and I should mention on this, we have had confirmation from the state that for deeds automation loan participation program that they have, where you have to have a participating lender. Our E3 program does qualify as matching funds or a participating lender under deeds program. So you can use this 350 to, kind of leverage those state dollars and bring more money into a project. The USDA Rural Economic Development Loan and Grant Program is probably the program we're most active with in terms of economic development financing. I just barely made it here. I was just on my phone on a Zoom meeting with Jonathan Sanford from the USDA and one of our co-ops, East Central Energy. We're trying to get a grant closed here for the city of Bram to buy a new fire truck. So always talking about USDA Red Leg, and happy to work with you on this program if you think you have a qualifying project. Has to be in a rural area, population of less than 50,000 is how USDA defines that. And really, it's traditional economic development metrics in terms of what they're assessing these applications on, what the eligibility requirements are. There's some questions, I think, with all federal programs right now. There are some questions with Red Leg on whether or not it would be renewed. I think we still need to clear appropriations, but it's good news that it is included in the president's budget at fiscal year 2025 funding levels for fiscal year 2026. They did release the notice of federal opportunity in September, and that extends the program through June 30th. So we've got to make it through appropriations, but so far so good. They are accepting applications. What's notable is that right before the shutdown, Andrew Gagg from the state office told me that it was the first time in his career that they didn't have any active applications in the Red Leg program for the entire state of Minnesota. So this is a program where you're competing against other applications. So that tells us it's a very good time to apply. The competition is pretty weak. You're almost sure to get in if you have an eligible and qualifying application. There are two sides to the Red Leg program. The loan side is a pass-through loan. The co-op, the participating co-op, all of this has to flow through a co-op. This program is only available to telephone and distribution cooperatives. There's a lot of other USDA programs you should look at, but for this one, it's available only through the cooperative, which helps in terms of you're not competing with every single project in every city across the country. In this case, on the loans, the co-op can apply for up to $1 million. It's been as high as $2 million before, but the current NOFO has got it capped at $1 million, or 80% of the project costs. That's a 0% interest loan that the co-op is taking out from the federal government, and then they turn around and give a subsequent loan and pass that on at 0% interest to the ultimate recipient, as they call it in the USDA world. The co-op is allowed to charge an annual 1% service fee based on whatever the balance is at the end of each term year. And that goes right to their general fund. That's meant to cover their costs of administering the program and keep this cost neutral and not become a burden on the co-op members who are footing the bill for everything. So this program is really widely used for new construction, really job creation, traditional economic development, a lot of mostly for-profit type private sector development. But we have and I should say that we're a little more tighter on the credit review on this one, or the collateral review really. Most of these are secured through a letter of credit from our participating bank. And that's simply because the co-op is guaranteeing repayment. If something happens with the end use project, the co-op still has to pay that money back, and that would be a burden on the co-op members. So typically, these are secured. We have seen some secured through real estate mortgages and things, traditional collateral like that, but typically it's a letter of credit with a participating bank. The grant side of the program for Red Leg is a little misleading. There are no grants available for any of your projects, unfortunately. But what this does allow is the co-op can apply instead of a pass-through loan, they request a grant. They can get up to $300,000. They match that with $60,000 of their own money. So the costs are always having skin in the game, whether it's sharing the risk or actually putting up real dollars. And that $360,000 money fund is then loaned out to the ultimate recipient at 0% interest. These are all for public projects. So we do a lot of healthcare facilities, business incubators qualify, and we've done a lot with public health and safety. So a lot of fire trucks, fire halls. The picture there is the city of McGregor's new fire hall. The conditions the firefighters were reporting out of were atrocious previously. This is a modern facility where they can operate safely, come home and clean off the carcinogens and go home to their families safely. And the response times for area residents are greatly improved at these facilities. So we love these projects. I mentioned I'm working with the city of Bram. We had one recently approved for their new fire truck. These are something everyone can get excited about. What's unique about this is, unlike the pass-through loans, which have to be paid back to USDA once the co-op receives a payment, they make a payment to USDA. In this case, when the loan is paid back to the co-op, it doesn't go back to USDA. That full $360,000 is retained by the co-op in a separate fund, and they create a revolving loan fund with those dollars. And that includes the co-op's money. So they put that $60,000 in, they have control over it in the revolving loan fund, but it never goes back into their general fund. That's an investment they make and the USDA makes in the long-term economic development in those areas. Most of the co-op, all of the co-ops, I would say, in Northeast Minnesota have access to the Red Leg program, and most have an active revolving loan fund. So these vary. They create their own revolving loan fund plans that are approved by USDA, and they've got some kind of wide, guidelines to follow, but really they can kind of set what their maximum loan amounts they're going to accept, how they're going to set interest rates. Will they do 50%, 80% of the project costs? So they're all a little bit like snowflakes. They're all a little bit different in that way. USDA won't allow them to charge more than prime interest. Typically, we're seeing interest rates somewhere around 3% or less for these loans, but that really vary by co-op. But all of the co-ops have these, and what's unique is, unlike the pass-through loan program where you're doing a new application to USDA, very lengthy and a lot of work to get some new money out of USDA. In the case of these revolving loan fund programs, you're dealing with your local co-op, their regular board meeting schedule. So the board of directors at the co-op is the ultimate authority over the revolving loan fund plan. So all the approvals and reviews are happening right there locally. No input from USDA as long as we're following the plan. So if you need a faster turnaround time, if you don't need a larger dollar amount like $1 million loan, this is going to be the program for you. The only catch is they must charge an interest rate. The programs are expected to sustain themselves over time. So they're not 0% on this program. And that's all I had. I'll pass it on to the next. I think we're doing questions at the end. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. We will jump over to Amanda Vucic with the Northland Foundation.
All right. Thanks for having us today. So I am Amanda Vucic with Northland Foundation. I'm a business lender there. And I'll just talk a little bit about our loan program that we have at the foundation. So our service area is pretty similar to a lot of folks on the call. We're the 7 counties of northeastern Minnesota, and that includes 5 tribal nations. So we are up here in the Arrowhead. We're based in Duluth, but do cover the entire region. Our lending policies, our loan sizes, we go 25,000 to 500,000, and we use those loan funds to support working capital, real estate, business acquisitions. That's been a popular one this year. Construction projects, and things that we typically avoid are bailouts and debt refinancing projects. Any loans under 100,000, we can get in-house approval without having to go to committee. So that helps move things along a little bit faster. Gap lending is what we do. So we really help projects just complete their financing package. We work a lot with banks and our other economic development partners here. We're often in a subordinate position, which is really attractive for banks to help fill those gaps in projects that might not otherwise get across the finish line. So here's just a little example of how we structure a deal. This was a sauna project here in Duluth. The bank went to their normal loan to value on the property and did a loan of 960,000. We came in with a gap loan of 150,000 behind the bank, secured by the real estate, and the owner was able to bring $90,000 in to finish that project. That really helped the borrower retain more cash to help support the working capital that comes along with the construction project. We partner with other gap lenders. Here's a project we did with ARDC. It was some building renovations. The owner was able to bring in $100,000, and Northland and ARDC were able to support the project by sharing a first mortgage on the building. That really helps us to finish the project, and both of us have a good collateral position on the projects, and we're able to get that done for the client. Both of our loan limits are, pretty low, under $500,000. So sometimes it's easier to split the project rather than go to our full loan amount. We participate in a variety of state and federal partnerships. So we have some loan programs that are offered through the state of Minnesota, and you don't need to know the details of this. If you qualify, we would just enroll you in those programs. But they support different kinds of populations: women, veterans, BIPOC folks, people with low income or disabilities. And it's a really good program for startups. If you're a startup business, this could be a good way to get some capital. We also participate in some guarantee programs, which is more just for us as lenders. We have the State Small Business Guarantee Program and the SBA Community Advantage Program, and both of those allow us to take a guarantee on the loan and can help with some of those collateral shortfalls. Right now, we have a really good loan program through the state of Minnesota. It offers a 3% interest rate for businesses that have had a gross revenue under $1.5 million. It can support construction and redevelopment projects, equipment purchases. The only things that are ineligible for this program are working capital requests and debt refinance. So we still have funds available. It's again at 3% interest, and we're looking to get that money out the door here before we have to give it back to the state. Here's my contact information. My colleague Michael is also on our loan team. So if you'd like to talk about your project, we'd be happy to chat with you. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. We will head over to Ryan from the Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation.
Sorry, I needed Amanda to close out first. Just a second. And do you see the one with the notes or the slide?
The one with the notes.
Okay.
Just have to choose your other screen usually.
I got it. How about now?
Perfect.
Cool. Hi guys, I'm Ryan Molich. I'm Director of Business Development at IRRB, the Department of Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation. In the lobby, we also have our loan officers, Scott Sunball and Sam Davidson-Teff. So feel free to ask them questions as well as myself throughout the day. So Iron Range Resources and Rehabilitation is a state of Minnesota economic development agency located in northeastern Minnesota with a focus on northeastern Minnesota. Our agency is 84 years old, and we were established in 1941 by the governor and legislature to help diversify the regional economy away from the boom and bust cycles of mining. This is the service area that we serve. It's known as the Taconite Assistance Area. It's defined in statute. It's the majority of the Arrowhead region, minus Duluth and the surrounding communities. So this service area is made up by school district. It is the school districts that contain iron ore deposits, historic iron ore deposits, or electrical generating facilities that service the mines. We cover all of Lake and Cook counties, most of St. Louis County, most of Itasca County, and then in the southwestern portion of the service area, we have the Crosby, Ironton, and Aiken school districts. Though we are a state agency, we are a little bit unique in a couple different aspects. First, in how we're funded. We are not a state agency that's general funded. The mining companies, rather than paying property taxes, pay a production tax on the tonnage that they produce. A portion of that production tax comes through to the agency for us to reinvest in our communities and businesses throughout the region. We are overseen by an advisory board of elected officials from the area. So these are the state Senate and House reps that have at least 33% of their constituents within the service area. We do have an appointed representative, Senator Bobby Joe Champion, who serves on the board as well. And the agency really has three primary goals: that businesses invest in northeastern Minnesota, that our communities invest in their foundational and social assets to ensure quality of life, and that workers have the education and training to meet business needs. These goals work with our three legs of our stool that we have. We focus on business development, community development, and workforce development. I oversee the business department, and so today we're here to talk about our business resources, which is primarily our loan programs. We offer two loan programs: our bank participation loan and our direct loan programs. Allowable use of loan funds include property and building acquisition, renovations, new building construction, property improvements, machinery and equipment, and inventory purchases. Primarily, we are a fixed asset financer. Eligible businesses include startup and existing businesses. We have a real focus towards manufacturing and assembly. Projects that attract outside investments into the service area. We do not serve in the retail or service industry, agriculture, transportation, construction. The list of ineligible businesses is to the right, but there is a mechanism that we can help those businesses, and we'll talk about those in a little bit later. Our bank participation loan program is sort of our bread and butter. I'd say the majority of the projects that we work on are participations. In a nutshell, the agency purchases a portion of a loan that a financial institution or a commercial bank or regulated lender underwrites. So then the loan has the bank portion, their half at their interest rate and their term. We buy half of that bank portion. We match the bank's length of the loan, but we have our interest rate, which is the full faith credit obligations of the U.S. Treasury of a comparable term, minus 3%. And so our minimum interest rate that we have to charge on participation loans is 1%. Throughout the last couple of years, with interest rates going up and down and all over the place, I think we got as high as 1.5% on some loans, but the vast majority of our portfolio is in the 1% area. This is an example of participation project. Our ideal mix is a third, a third, a third. A third equity from the business, a third bank financing, and a third IRRR. This was the Virginia Plastics project, a new piece of equipment that they needed. They had equity from the business. We partnered with a local lending institution, and then we matched their portion. This project also involved an energy efficiency upgrade. The new machine replaced 2 older ones. And so this was also able to utilize our business energy retrofit grant program. And we'll talk about that at the end of the presentation as well. Our direct loan program is what it sounds like. It's a direct loan from the agency to a business. This has a slightly higher interest rate than the participation program. It's based off of the Fed rate minus 1%. So the minimum rate charged on a direct loan is 3%. These are really tied towards recruitment projects, high job creators, or extremely unique situations, where a project might be in jeopardy, and the agency is needed to step in and do something unique. This was a direct loan project that we worked on. It included, many partners, including Itasca County, the city of Grand Rapids, DEED, IRRR grant dollars, and IRRR loan dollars. It is important for us to note that we're not a replacement of other state funds. And so in all of the projects that we work on, we like to encourage everybody to try to utilize as many available funding sources as there are. The dollars that are available to businesses in St. Paul and other parts of the state are available to the businesses in our region. We are the cherry on top of that, not the replacement of. And we have great working relationships with our sister agencies and have been able to do some really cool stuff. This is our loan process. Not every project fits, an exact roadmap. Important thing for us to note here, though, is on the second line here, projects under $500,000 we can approve through desk authority. Anything over $500,000 we have to take to the board for their review and recommendation. We don't have regularly scheduled board meetings, but we have at least 4 a year. And so we try to tailor those board meetings around projects being ready. Our loan guarantee program is a way that we can help all kinds of businesses throughout the area. This program doesn't have the same eligibility criteria as the participation or direct loans. Loan guarantee program is available to any business in the service area as long as they've been under the same management for 2 years. This allows the agency to guarantee a bank loan up to 75%, up to $150,000. This can be term debt, revolving credit, or a single payment note. The maximum term on the guarantee is 5 years. We see this utilized a lot in lines of credit. So a business will take out a $200,000 line of credit. Will guarantee 75% of that up to $150,000. This program is available to all regulated lenders and all businesses that have been operating under the same management for 2 years in the taconite assistance area. Here's our website. Check it out. It's mn.gov/IRRB. While I focused on our loan programs today, in our grant resources, there are grant programs that are geared towards business, including our business energy retrofit program and our downtown building rehabilitation program. These are administered by AEOA and are grant dollars that help in Burr. It helps with energy efficiency upgrades, windows, doors, insulation, all kinds of things. DBR focuses on code compliance upgrades. We have the Ranger newsletter, goes out every couple weeks and highlights the different things that we do in our work. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Ryan. We are going to jump over to Terry Stein with MBFC.
Hello, everybody. Let me get situated here. There. Can you see all that?
Yes, we
Perfect.
can.
Well, great. My name is Terry Stein. I am a business development officer with MBFC, and I've been with the company for 13 years. The company has been around since 1983. We are a certified development company, a nonprofit licensed and regulated by SBA. SBA really has two arms to it. One is 7A, where there's a whole umbrella of guarantee products that banks can provide to borrowers. 504 is different. 504 is different in that we establish a project and then we'll split it between the bank, SBA, and the borrower. And those dollars that get injected into the project really promotes the growth in our economy. So we lend in all of Minnesota, North Dakota, parts of South Dakota, Iowa, and all of Wisconsin. Our mission statement is to be the premier CDC in the upper Midwest, working in partnership to foster business development and job creation retention through the access of capital. In Minnesota, our volume's pretty strong, and I think that's what sets us apart from our competition. Last year, we funded 89 loans for $73 million for a total of almost $200 million in project costs. I think that's proof that we have our finger on the pulse. We know it works. We know it doesn't work, and allows you to save time by using us because we'll put you on the right path. Our impact since 83, we've funded 1.7 billion in 504 loans, created over 39,000 jobs. We've given back on vet-owned businesses over 222,000, and we've approved 3,441 504 loans approved since that time. Now, we service everything that we put together. We service from cradle to grave. So our borrowers will be dealing with us and me right in the Minnesota area. And this is just a snapshot of our portfolio. As of the end of fiscal year last year, we had essentially 465 million that we service. And this is kind of a breakdown of the industry that we service. The 504 program really is a fixed asset program. Basically, it's really meant for the mom and pop type business owner. And so they're all about lending to the small business owner, SBA is, but they're not so much interested in lending to like the real estate investment guy. So they do have an occupancy rule in place, and that is that our operating company will need to occupy over 51% of an existing building. If it's brand new construction, that increases to 60% with a plan to occupy 80% by year 10. It really is an economic tool to stimulate private sector investment and increase productivity, create new jobs. So the benefits, why 504? There's really two sets of benefits here. The first is to the borrower, and that is our product. It provides a low, below market fixed rate for the entire term with no maturity date. We can go out 10, 20, or 25 years. In addition, we only secure the subject property as collateral. So we're not going to take a lien on short-term assets. We're not going to take a lien on personal assets. We just stick with what the project is. The flip side, or the benefits to the bank or the lead lender, is that SBA allows them to be in a first real estate mortgage position at 50% loan to value. That has value. That's going to allow a lender to lean in a little bit more on a project where they might be a little bit uncomfortable at like 75 or 80. So for the bankers in the room, they'll recognize the structure. The standard structure, really, we have three products. One is the standard structure. We call it the 50-40-10, where the bank finances half, we will finance 40% and the borrower will bring in 10% to the table. So that's a huge benefit for the borrower. That down payment can be impacted in several ways. And that is one, if the borrower is a startup, meaning that they've been operating for 2 years or less, they'll add 5% to that borrower contribution. And two, if the property's special purpose, like a gas station or a hotel, they'll add another 5. So realistically, you could have a startup hotel and you're looking at 50, 30, 20% down. That's why it's important to reach out and reach out to me and kind of get me involved sooner than later, because there's several ways we can make exceptions to that, but we need to get involved up front. So my contact information will be on the last slide here, but it's just important to reach out and get me introduced to the project sooner so we can get you on the right track and get the correct structure established. So what we finance is fixed assets. So you're looking at land acquisition, the site improvements that can be an expansion or remodel, purchase of an existing building, the construction of new buildings. We can also finance the acquisition of machinery and equipment. We can also refinance debt on a limited basis, but we can do that. And we also can finance the professional fees and reserve for putting the project together. The maximum SBA size for most projects is $5 million, unless it's manufacturing. If it's manufacturing, we can go up to $5.5 million per project. So if you have multiple manufacturers, we can, essentially there is no cap. Our rates, the 504 loan is really a bond. And so every month we have a funding. And as of November's funding, the rates are on the board. The standard rate on a 10 years 5.65, on 20 it's 5.92, and on 25 years fixed 5.86. And again, that's fully amortized, no maturity date. Now there's some changes coming down the pipe for 26, coming from Washington with the new administration and the theme for manufacturing. We do have a separate pricing for manufacturing, and that came in last month at a 25-year 5.62. Additionally, there's some talk about some changes coming down the pipe as far as raising the cap up to 10 million and potentially the elimination of special purpose properties. So if that, and it sounds like there's some traction on this. So if that develops and becomes real or hard, we will definitely put a training program together and get that updated information out to everybody. So our process is pretty straightforward. When we put a deal together, generally it's good to introduce me to the banker, and together both the bank and our credit team will underwrite the application together. And eventually, once we get a bank approval and I have everything that I need to put the application together, we'll submit it to SBA and then we're on their clock. So my name and contact information is on the board. If you have some questions, feel free to reach out. I can provide some detailed examples on how it works and what the benefits are. I urge you to reach out. So thank you.
Great. Thank you, Terry. We've got 4 more presentations. Next up is Zach Filipovich with Northspan.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. Hope everyone is having fun and finding these presentations valuable. My name is Zach Filipovich. I am a consultant and finance manager with Northspan. We are a 501c4 birthed in 1985 to help economic development in our Northeast region. We're a team of 8, and I am so lucky to be able to work with our very, very experienced and diverse skill set team members. They are all fantastic, and I'm right there in the on the top line. Northspan, we have a broad mission statement because what we do is encompasses a lot of things. And so if you're a business, if you're a government agency, if you are a nonprofit, we help you turn your ideas into accomplishments through the work that we do. And we do that by providing fee-based consulting and our programmatic work to help form connections, build capacity, and help folks access capital when they need it. First, we'll talk about the consulting services that Northspan has. First kind of section is, again, that forming connections. Two things that I would maybe highlight or maybe folks might know about are the learning leaders cohorts that really help bring communities together, and maybe our equity summit, if folks remember our annual equity summit that we do, again, to help overcome some of the challenges with our workforce and that sort of thing. Those pieces really help our economic economy with those. Building capacity. This is a lot of strategic planning work and economic impact analysis. Those are two things I want to highlight there. And you can kind of maybe see the diversity. Strategic planning is a lot of, hey, let's draw out information so we can help a business or an organization do better. And economic analysis is a lot of spreadsheets and data points. And so we've had forming connections, building capacity, and the last one is accessing capital. And this is what we're going to focus on here today. We'll go through these one by one. Valuations, this is something that I do. I'm a certified valuation analyst, or CVA. This is our kind of process. We have 6 major steps to help conduct a business valuation. One thing I want to highlight here is if it's wanted, if it's needed, we will sit down and go through our valuation reports. They're about 30 or so pages with you, with the business owner, maybe with the banker. Make sure that you understand everything that went into that business valuation process. Make sure that we did not miss anything. If we did, we can go back and see if it's relevant, see if it's material, see if it's reasonable. And make changes if that is something that we need to do. And so this is a very, very hands-on approach to business valuations. We will go and we will conduct a site visit. We will go and do some interviews with folks, maybe some of those key employees, make sure that we have all the information that we need to provide you a business valuation that you can be confident of. And so that's business valuations. Business valuation report is often the first step in succession planning, and that is a very valuable service that we also provide to businesses and other organizations as well. And so you can talk with me during the chat portion or the breakout sessions. We also provide feasibility studies. Others in the room, you might know that SBAs sometimes require a feasibility study in the 504 program. And Terry was just talking about special use properties. These are sometimes required for those. And our job here is to help poke holes into a business plan, into a finance plan. And so I'm usually the one with the spreadsheet going through making sure that the financial feasibility is there. But these have been helpful for clients in the past, and we expect they will continue to be so. We help banks and some credit unions provide SBA services. If a bank does not have their own SBA expert, they can hire us to be their SBA expert. The SOP for SBA 7A, Terry was talking about the 504. This is the 7A side, the guarantee side of the SBA program is about 500 or so pages. And we keep up to date on all the changes that happened. There was a really big change that happened in June of this year. And so we got to go through and redline and see what those changes were. No surprise, the fees went up for SBA 7A services. And so if you have questions about this, feel free to stop by the chat room or the breakout room. Angie Steer with the 1200 Fund was talking about loan support and technical assistance services. We provide these to several different loan funds throughout our region, 1200 Fund being one of them, the East Range Joint Powers Board, being another one. They have a loan program as well, and a few others. We can help design loan programs for different entities. It does not always have to be government. We have done this for nonprofits as well. And we are really, really proud of this work to be able to provide loan committee members and decision makers the information that they need to make a reasonable decision. Tribal SSBCI, or State Small Business Credit Initiative, excuse me. This is the first time that tribal governments have access to this program. And you can talk with me on this. We can get into the weeds very, very quickly on tribal SSBCI. And I'll just go through our regional programming very, very quickly. Our DON, Driving Access to Wealth and Networks. This is our region. It's a little bit in flux thanks to the uncertainty with the federal government. We very much pride ourselves on bringing together a very diverse and large group of people to help us tell us what the challenges are and how to help overcome those challenges in our economic ecosystem in our region. And again, building that regional economic resilience. And I'll just point out the last point here, inclusivity, making sure that we have the workforce to sustain our economic engine in our Northeast region of Minnesota, looping back to forming connections, the first C of our 3 C's here at Northspan. And I'll just leave you all with a quick quote as to why Northspan has been valuable. In the past, this was a valuation that we have done, and this is used with permission because all of our valuation and a lot of the capital work that we do is confidential, but this is used with permission. I'll pause there. Hopefully everyone has found this valuable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zach. Next up, we have Francisco Martinez with Legal Corps.
Hi, everyone. Just 1 second while I get this set up. All right. Should be good.
Yes.
All right. And there we go. Well, hello, everyone. As it was stated, my name is Francisco Martinez, and I work with Legal Corps. We've been in service since 2004, and this will be a brief overall look at the things we offer. So what is Legal Corps? Legal Corps, our mission is what we offer is transactional business and IP protection, legal aid for business owners, entrepreneurs, inventors, nonprofits who have limited resources or access to the legal system. Overall, our mission is to expand legal access to promote economic development and to strengthen communities. And as the only business law legal aid organization in Minnesota, we strive to create programs to empower individuals and families looking to build legacy for future generations. An overall thing of what we do is with these three direct services is brief advice clinics, limited scope representation, and educational workshops. With brief advice clinics, we offer 30-minute guidance opportunities to ask questions about transactional business law matters, such as general business, landlord-tenant, nonprofit, and intellectual property. And if there's something that we can't really cover in the 30 minutes for a brief advice clinic, we also offer something called limited scope representation, where we can help with legal matters such as employment law, patent registration, entity formation, and nonprofit establishment. However, with this one, there is a income and partner program guidelines that have to be met, while the brief advice clinics don't require any sort of income limits. You can be any sort of income, and we can offer you the 30-minute guidance. Lastly, one of the services that we do offer is educational workshops, where we serve as an impactful resource for individuals who may not have the financial means to access legal systems and legal education. It could be whether contracts, nonprofit governance, intellectual property, or even entity formation. One of the three main programs, aside from the services we offer several programs, those being the nonprofit program, the Inventor Assistance Program, and the entrepreneurs in our community. For the nonprofit program is headed, or the one coworker that's in charge is Anastasia Walton, and she very much would be helping those nonprofit programs who are seeking assistance. For the nonprofit, we look to support their mission, and we can do this by connecting small nonprofits with attorneys who can provide pro bono legal advice and assistance specific to nonprofit entities, and this includes startups. And another thing is to respond to the legal need of many Minnesota nonprofits and to reduce the high cost barrier of legal support. We, along with the Minnesota Council of Nonprofits, have partnered to offer a free nonprofit legal service initiative. And what this really offers are three main sort of resources: the Nonprofit Legal Help Desk, which is real-time legal support for nonprofits and MCN members when referred to resources, which refers you to resources and counsel, as well as a legal resource library, which is resources that help address legal considerations to ensure that you're in compliance and you're protecting your nonprofit legal rights. The last really resource they have for the nonprofit initiative is the compliance support, which is a guidance for compliance assessment for your nonprofits, as well as legal standards and best practice, and even having compliance workshops. For more information on this sort of like initiative, you can go to minnesotanonprofits.org and click on MN Nonprofit Legal Services Initiative, which would be on the top page. The next program we really have is the Inventors Assistance Program. And here, Benjamin Savar, he's the specialist that's in charge of that. So if you were to get help with an invention, it certainly would be communicating with him. Here we give inventors help through business brief advice clinics as well. And these can be done in person or virtually. Aside from these, what we call BACs, the program works to help the inventor through the patent application. However, there are several requirements that we have, and one of them is that you must reside within apologies. You must reside in states within our region. That typically is Minnesota and the states surrounding it. So Wisconsin, Iowa, North and South Dakota. Additionally, you would have to be under the 400% of federal poverty guideline, which should be fairly easy to meet for majority of people, but we do sometimes get individuals who have more than 400% of the federal poverty guideline, and we try to help them out to give them additional resources if we can help them with that. And another thing that we require is that they complete the USPTO online certificate training, which is free, and we provide a link for you to go to that. It's typically just an hour. And the last thing, and obviously the most important, is the invention must be more than just an idea. It's got to be novel or new, non-obvious, and useful. And these are really just the basic things that we need to assist you in the Inventor Assistance Program. The next the program that we have is the one where I'm mostly dealing with entrepreneurs in our communities. I work with various businesses and entrepreneurs through partnerships that we have with locally focused organizations that have built trusting relationships with their service areas, and they ultimately refer their clients to us, which we can then offer a more in-depth legal assistance to them. As we believe that sound guidance on business law matters is essential to the success of all entrepreneurs, and regardless of the income. And because of that, we feel that our role is an integral one to play in ensuring that the entrepreneurs and the small nonprofits who serve our communities have access to legal assistance, even if they cannot afford fee-paying relationships with an attorney. And this is ultimately like overall what we strive for. We try to reduce this critical barrier with our services, And we believe it plays a key role in starting, maintaining, and protecting the interests of entrepreneurs and business owners, as well as helping our cultural corridors to thrive, because oftentimes many of these minority communities or individuals who might be new to the country have limited resources, who want to stride for that American dream, who want to stride to have a business or to be successful in that way. And we feel that we can offer that assistance with what we do. And here's how to contact us, either through legalcore.org. The IAP email is right there. Small business email is also info@legalcore. And thank you for this time.
Thank you, Francisco. Next up, we have John Anderson with SCORE.
All right, I am missing a media for you. I'm John Anderson. I'm here in Duluth, Minnesota. I'm retired from Saturn Systems, where I was their operations director. Previous to that, I was at Maurice's. I was their system director. I'm the client intake coordinator for the Twin Cities of the Minnesota chapter of SCORE, and I'm also a mentor with them. Now, what is SCORE? It's a national nonprofit organization that offers free mentorships and resources to help small businesses start, grow, or exit successfully. The acronym stands for the Service Corps of Retired Executives. It is retired volunteers. It was formed in 1964. It's headquartered in Virginia. There's 165 chapters throughout the United States, and Minnesota is one of those chapters. And we have 7,600 volunteers. They claim to be the nation's largest network of volunteer expert business mentors. A caveat here that it was originally set up by the Small Business Administration, and they have since cut our funding for fiscal 26. But we are finding new funding resources. So if you hear that we aren't ending. We're alive and well. We assigned 40 mentor requests just in the last 7 days in the state of Minnesota. Our website is score.org, and that's where you can get a lot of information. We provide a free volunteer mentor, a newsletter that has resources, events, and business tips. We have things like templates, articles, other resources such as business plans, understanding financial statements, or maybe the basics of business credit, and dozens, scores more. But primarily, SCORE provides free mentorships to anyone who requests it. Mentors are volunteers who will meet with you regularly as needed, commonly monthly, often online, but they are also in person or by phone or email. The Twin Cities chapter, which serves Duluth and Northwest Wisconsin, has 143 volunteers. We have 480 current live clients that we're servicing right now. For example, with me, I've got 7 here right in Duluth. Most of my meetings are in person, for example, in a coffee shop. And I take about half of the requests that come into SCORE for the Duluth area. They range in age. My own ones are from age 18 to 60. Many of them are existing self-employed people, or they have smaller companies that they're running. Commonly, they want to become self-employed if they aren't already, but they don't know how to do it. They're looking for ideas on where to start. They just want to improve professionally. How to connect with SCORE? Submit a mentoring request into score.org, and you can find and search on a mentor. But you can just complete the form, providing the information on what you're looking for, and send it in, and they will match you up with someone. Thank you.
John, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. Next up and last is Maddie LeClaire with the Department of Employment and Economic Development. Thank you, Maddie.
Yeah, thanks, Alyssa. All right, I know I am last, so I will try and keep it short and sweet. Let me get this going. Share my screen. Cool. All right. Let's talk about resources that are available at the state level. So my name's Maddie LeClaire. I am with DEED's Small Business Assistance Office, and I also assist with the Launch Minnesota initiative. And we have a broad range of resources available to small businesses, but it kind of breaks down into 3 different categories. The first is consulting, education, and technical assistance. The second one is access to funding. And the final one helps entrepreneurs stay connected and informed. So some of the things under the consulting, education, technical assistance, of course, many people here are familiar with the small business development centers. These offer counseling and training for new and existing businesses. They're a wonderful resource, and I refer entrepreneurs to them every day. Small Business Assistance Office, we have been publishing for several decades now a guide to starting a business in Minnesota. It is a full textbook with everything you need on how to start a business in Minnesota. But we kind of break that down as well, and we just have a one-pager. And I'm going to include a few links in the chat after I'm done talking. 5 steps to start a business in Minnesota. That is just a brief overview because a lot of people, frankly, just don't really know where to start or what the first steps are. So this is just a one-page guide that I kind of give people to make the process a little less intimidating. After they get going, I encourage them to look at our business compliance checklist. Again, another really helpful, just one-page document, helps businesses ensure they're meeting all the legal and regulatory requirements in Minnesota. And then the technical assistance providers. Many of the wonderful organizations here today are technical assistance providers. We encourage entrepreneurs to connect with organizations that offer free or low-cost expertise to help their businesses succeed. The technical assistance providers listed on our site are all recipients of the Small Business Assistance Partnership grants, and they receive these funds so that they can help small businesses in either a specific demographic or a specific part of the state. Launch Minnesota, my other area of expertise, is an initiative that assists with high-tech, high-growth startups interested in starting and scaling in Minnesota. Access to funding. I won't go too in-depth on funding because many of the state programs have already been mentioned today. Potential funding opportunities the state offers includes grants, loans, and investment programs that can help businesses start and scale. This includes the Promise Loan / Grant, the Growth Loan Fund, the Emerging Entrepreneur Loan Program are just a few. And again, I will include a link that has a list of the full list of programs. I will say that it's mostly loans right now. Everybody wants a grant. Unfortunately, not a ton of grants available. The Startup Showcase is a Launch Minnesota initiative that connects investors to startups. It is an event that we host usually 2 or 3 times a year. And startups can apply to participate. We will select typically 5 to 10, and they have 4 to 5 minutes to present on their company. And we invite a group of about 20 investors to hear these pitches. And I'm happy to say that several companies have received investment as a result of Startup Showcase. We've held 4 of those in the last 2 years. Minnesota Investor List. We have this just available on our website. It's a list of active investors interested in supporting startups and small businesses. Connects founders to VCs, angel networks, corporate partners fueling innovation. And we did just recently update that this fall. Finally, stay connected. Reach out to us. We have a calendar with upcoming events, conferences, and networking opportunities across the state. We have a monthly small business call, always on a different topic. Our next one is next week. It's always the second Tuesday of the month at 2 p.m. So Tuesday, December 9th. And connect with the Small Business Assistance Office. We really want to help, and we have a lot of resources at our disposal. So there is our contact information. And there you have it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Maddie. All right, everyone. I am opening the rooms. So you should be able to see them. At the bottom, you have to choose which breakout room you want to go into. And for our speakers, you also need to choose the room that you're assigned to. So room 1, which is regional access to funding, is Angie Steer, Amanda Vucich, Chad Record, and Ryan Malik. Room 2, statewide access to funding, Rob Shostrand, Jeff Borling, and Terry Stein. Room 3, Christopher Hennigan and Zach Filipovich. And room 4, Kirsten Kennedy, Francisco Martinez, John Anderson, and Maddie LeClaire. So please go to those rooms. And for those who are curious and want to ask some questions, please also head to those rooms that you would like to learn more about. If anybody needs help, let me know. Anybody not in a room that's still here with me, if you want help going to rooms, just let me know. You've got to go down to the bottom and pick the breakout rooms, and then you can dive into a room. Hey, Mary. So down at the bottom, there's a little breakout room thing. You might have to click on the 3 dots to find it, and then you should be able to choose which room you want to go to, or you can let me know and I can put you in one.
I'll go into the financing one.
Do you want the one that has like our local folks or the statewide, which is Rob, Jeff, and Terry?
I think the statewide.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I finally found the 3 dots. Sorry about that.
Okay, you should be able to say accept and go in there. Pat, Joey, John, anybody else want some help going into a room?
Material resources or money resources. So I'm looking to start really small.
Where are you located, Julie?
Judy, I'm in Lakewood Township, so I'm outside of Duluth.